Wow. Ooh. 150. Not too bad. Let's do these. We're at 50%, guys. 50% power. I'll turn it up here in a minute. All right, let's turn the power up a little bit. It's 275. Not bad. Wow. That's cool. That's 75%. Wow. That was quick. It's gone.
Wow, this thing is absolutely amazing. This is my new favorite machine, all-time favorite machine. I've used sandblasters, vapor blasters, chemicals, all that stuff. This is absolutely the coolest thing I've ever seen. We're gonna take a closer look at it. We're gonna do some more stuff, and I'm gonna try to get as many examples as possible. We're gonna do multiple videos, so we're gonna do deep dives into this thing and how it works and how it performs. Right out of the box, put water in it, hook it up, and it's ready to go. Let's take a close look at what we've done, and then we'll take a closer look at the machine, and then we'll do some more stuff. The thing is awesome. I could do that all day long. So this is something we were working on a couple weeks ago. I'm waiting for some parts to come in to finish this corner out, but we'd already stripped it. But you can kind of see the laser stripped it down even more. If you come over to the frame here, you can really see the work that it did. I mean, that is bare metal, guys. What's really cool is it wraps around everything, so you can get into all these crevices. And you can see those little lines. The laser goes back and forth. See those little lines? It looks awesome. That thing was covered with rust, dirt, paint, grease. Look at that. I mean, that's literally just a few seconds and the rust is gone. That's what it looks like on that area. And you can see here, that's what it looked like before. And that stuff came off real quick. I've noticed there's some areas that come off faster than others, just like with sandblasting. But there's some areas that came off really quick. I mean, that's bare metal, guys. So this is the SFX laser cleaning machine. It's the BLC 2000. They have multiple models. They even have a bigger one than this. I think they have a BLC 3000, and they may even have some bigger ones for like commercial stuff. If you're doing multiple projects like I am, and you really want to get the rust off, and you want to be able to get in some of those areas that's just a real pain, and you want to do it quick, and you want to do it without a mess, this seems like the right solution. This is a fiber optic cable that runs through here. There's also a water hose and some other stuff running through there. And that laser goes through that fiber optic cable, goes up through this gun, hits a lens and a mirror and some other stuff, and creates some sort of magic. I don't know how it works, but it does. All right, we'll take a quick look inside. There's a door here. Opens up. And this is water. So you put distilled water in here. It's about 4 gallons or so. And it fills up. And you can see here where it's full. It comes with gloves and goggles, special laser goggles. I've been wearing the respirator and using the temperature thing just to check the temperature after I'm done. Mobile laser cleaning machine, the BLC series. This thing's pretty cool. There's a computer in here. I'm not sure how it works. There's a water tank. Comes with a key. So you have to turn it on. There's emergency stop here and emergency stop there, enable. So there's lots of safety features on it. There we go. Basically, you go through this quick process, and it's up and running. Let you in. You can adjust the power. Right now, I started at 25 or 50, then I went up to 75. And I'm gonna play with 100 here in a minute. You can also adjust the frequencies and some other stuff. I didn't mess with the duty or the frequencies or this. I wanna look into that some more, but I did adjust the power, and I'm gonna adjust the power on the next thing up to 100 and just see what happens. There it is. There's paint, there's rust, there's all kinds of junk on there. It's just eating through it. All right, so there's a sweet spot where you stand. If you back up a little bit, it kind of starts to lose its power. You get too close, it gets kind of, messy. So there's a sweet spot depending on the settings that you have and what you're working on. See, if you go too far back, it kind of loses its... Got the Car McGee here. This thing's been sitting around for a while. Let's knock some of this rust back real quick. Wow. That's it. Pretty wild. You can see it eating the epoxy primer off of there. See that rust right there? Let's zap it. It's warm. It took off the rust and the paint. There's still some paint on the wheel, but you can see it takes it off. I could do this all day. All right, let's try this because this is a pretty complicated part with a lot of different areas. There's aluminum and steel on here. Guys, this thing is pretty amazing. It's a little scary. It's definitely need to be safe and think about what you're blasting. Don't put your hand in front of it and all that stuff. But how cool is that? Laser blasting rust and paint, and it works. There's pros and cons to everything. I guess one of the cons is the heat compared to sandblasting or vapor blasting or chemical dipping. So the heat's an issue. You definitely want to be careful if you're going to do light gauge body panels. You don't want to warp them. I'll do some examples on light gauge body panels on some stuff that I have that is just laying around, and we'll check the temperature and we'll see if we can tell if there's any warpage or anything. But that is a tool you definitely want to have in your collection if you can manage it. If you're doing a lot of restoration work. All right, let's take a closer look at that fan we're working on. That came off a Type 4 engine from a 914, Porsche 914 engine. I was hitting it pretty hard for a while, just trying to get in all those crevices. I might have hit it longer than I needed to, but I was trying to get up in there. It will get up in every little area, which is really neat. This thing was rusty. Let me see if I can find another one. Hold on. I got another one sitting here. This one's got a couple fins missing. I don't know if this one's a little dirtier, I think. But you can kind of see this was rusty before, like that. And you can kind of see now it's bare metal. All right, I got a few more things here I want to mess around with. Let's try this drive shaft. This is the drive shaft that came out of this 1968 Ford F-250.
That was one pass, and I pretty much took it all off.
eats the rust and anything else that's in its way. It really likes rust, but it eats grease and dirt and paint. I mean, we didn't spend a lot of time on that. Maybe probably less than a minute, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, just kind of going back and forth. But it ate right down to the metal as far as I can tell. You can see there where it ate through the grease right here. It exposed that joint. You know, normally you just take that out and clean all that up, but something like that, instead of sandblasting it or using the wire wheel on it or whatever, just let's try something else. How about this? Look at all the little complex little areas. This would be great for vapor blasting and get it finished really nice. Vapor blasters are awesome. Don't get me wrong. They are really cool. I love how the vapor blasters work. If they're in a cabinet. Vapor blasting outside is a mess. Sandblasting outside is a mess. Let's try this. Let's do it.
try this.
I could literally do that all day. That is really fun. Man, look at this is pretty much taken down to bare metal. It's got that residue that it leaves on there. It's kind of like a charcoal or whatever, because it is burning it off, so it leaves a little bit of carbon residue, I guess. But you can see it annihilates that rust. And what's cool is it gets in all those little crevices. So you could keep going. You could hit this a few more times and get more of it out of there for sure. But Pretty impressive. Really impressive. Ooh, that's still hot. It gets hot. You can see that was pretty cool how it was getting up in there and it was going all around that bolt. And there's a bunch of junk in here. This one's cooled off a little more. There's some heavy, heavy rust in here, and it ate through a bunch of it. There's still some more. That's pretty thick stuff. And it kind of lets you know the way it makes the sound that it makes and the way it looks, you can kind of tell it's still doing its thing. And then when it starts to lighten up, it's basically saying, hey, we're done with this part or this area. Pretty cool. It's not for everything. It's not for everyone. But the technology is pretty freaking awesome. If you guys are thinking about getting one, check out SFX. There should be a link below. I get a small commission and it helps support the channel, so I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to bring more videos. We're going to do more stuff with this machine as time goes on. There's going to be so many things that we can do. I mean, the rest of this frame, we can get up in here and clean up some of this stuff. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. All right, one more thing before we go. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff, but it's just like, I can't stop. It's freaking awesome. Let's try this rocker shaft. It's got rust and grease and paint and all kinds of stuff on it. See how this thing cleans up.
It's hitting the concrete below,
Yeah.
making the concrete smoke.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, like if there's gas or inner tube or anything like that around. Pull back a little bit.
Robert O'Roy would like this. This thing's wicked.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at the concrete smoke way over there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would burn through the metal if you held it still.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane.
It's fun, isn't it?
Jesus.
I know.
Weeping Jesus on the cross.
It's pretty wild.
What are you going to do about priming it after you get done blasting it all clean?
We'll probably hit it with OSPO, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Turn this fucking wicked son of a bitch off.
hit this real quick for a second.
It was hitting all the way on the other side of the frame and lighting it up.
Yeah. What is it? Ooh,
345.
damn, it gets hot quick.
Yeah.
The thin metal gets hot faster.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that on, especially on bigger areas.
Yeah.
That area is tight, so a lot of bends in it, so it's stronger. But
Yeah.
this spot right here.
Not too bad. Cools off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it makes it turn to carbon. Now, wow, see all the little lines?
It's hard to describe it.
It's like otherworldly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I've
pretty
had
wild.
enough of that crazy shit.
right, guys, let's do a little bit more. You can kind of see we've got a really good sample of all different types of scenarios here. The thinner metal does get hot quick, but you can adjust the heat, you can adjust the intensity and other parameters to kind of bring the heat down. But it's definitely something to consider. I would say it's great for the thicker, heavier duty stuff, and you can use it on here too. You just got to be, you know, careful how you use it. But for frames and all this thick metal stuff, it's freaking awesome. Let's get a little bit. This is actually pretty clean, but it's got some surface. I've already gone over most of this with the wire wheel and everything, but you can see there's still surface rust hiding in here in these different areas. And some of these areas are hard to get to with the wire wheel and everything. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that off just to see how it reacts. Let's try it out. All right, check it out. I don't know if you can see it, but if you notice, right in the middle of that lens, see there's like a little burn mark? Right in the middle of that lens down in there. There's a little stain or burn mark. That's what happens when dirt gets in there and then the laser hits it. And basically that lens is no good now. So they send you a couple extra ones, but that is basically the only consumable other than the water. So that lens needs to be changed. If you noticed when we were over here on this inside of this wheel, it started to kind of fizzle out. And that's because that lens got burnt. So I got to research how to get this thing off and change the lens. I'm assuming this comes off somehow. So I've got to look that up. We'll do that maybe in the next video. I'll show you guys how to change that lens. And hopefully by then I'll have learned a little bit more about the settings. And we can kind of go through some of that stuff. But this thing's awesome. First impressions. My brother liked it too. So he's... It's crazy. I mean, it's not for everything. But you could definitely see there are some applications versus using sandblasting or wire wheel. Definitely. I would say no problem on the frame and some of the heavier duty stuff. You want to be careful where you use it on the body panels because it will get hot quick and warp it. So, but even just for the frame, you can either sandblast the frame, chemical dip it, wire wheel it, or laser blast it. I would say laser blasting would probably be the quickest, cleanest, and easiest to do out of all of those. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. I've got to get that lens replaced and we'll do some more blasting over the next few weeks. You basically can get rid of the sandblasting and the wire wheel and all that stuff and just use the laser to blast all that stuff. I mean, look at all the stuff we blasted today. And we could probably even do a better job with adjusting the settings just a little bit and going back over the stuff a few more times. Pretty impressed with how much stuff comes off of here and how it's able to get into all those crevices. I mean, this thing was covered with rust and dirt and grease. Pretty wild. So, let me know what you think. Go check them out, SFX Lasers. They make engraving lasers too, and they make commercial grade lasers. So they have something for everybody. Go check them out, SFX Lasers. I appreciate it. Click on the link below. Maybe there's a discount. There might be a discount code. So let me know if you get one. Let me know if you have one and what you think. I know Half-Assed Customs has one, and he seemed to like it, so I had to get one. I really enjoyed it, and we've got tons of stuff. Tons of rusty parts that we're going to be able to blast. And I got quite a bit of stuff done before I end up getting dirt on the lens. Not sure exactly where it happened, but I think it happened right up here when I was just messing around with the front. I got too close or something kind of flew back and hit the lens. So that's really the heat and the lens getting dirty is really the only downfall. Other than that, it's freaking awesome. Hopefully that video gives you kind of an idea of how it works in the different applications. I'm going to do some more videos soon. And once I learn a little more about it and figure out how to change that lens and all that stuff. But yeah, that thing is awesome. It's really cool. Check it out. Go get one. I'm going to do some more videos on it soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. And look out for some more videos of blasting some rust. We're going to do more soon. I enjoyed it. Like, I could sit there and just do it all day. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Go check them out. SFX Lasers. Pretty cool. Go check them out. This thing's awesome. It's fun to use. It works. It's fast. And yeah, very, very impressed and like just kind of awe-struck in a way. It's just pretty, never seen anything like it. I've seen them on YouTube a couple times and I had to get one to try it out, and here it is in my hands. So if you guys can, go check it out. If you can afford it, get one, and you'll enjoy it. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. I appreciate it. stay tuned. We're gonna get some work done on this 68 Ford and the 76 Porsche. We might even do something on the Beetle and the Ghia. Those are really the 4 main projects I have right now. The 1976 Porsche 914, the 1968 Ford F-250, 1967 Carmen Ghia, and the 1965 VW Beetle. Those are the 4 projects I have. Swamp Dragon's laying around somewhere. We're gonna get to him at some point, but and that's basically it. We'll see you guys later. Take care. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Comment below. What do you think about this thing? Let me know if there's any more information you need on it and what you'd like to see blasted in a future video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one. Appreciate it. Later.